Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is day 8 of this chapter, and basically we're going to still use factor boxes to do factoring, but now, so let me write this out here. We're going to factor ax squared plus bx plus c, and the only difference between the last lesson and this one is this a is not going to be equal to 1. Okay, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to be some other number. So it actually makes it a little more complicated. But I'll tell you guys, if you use factor boxes and you get, you try the different combinations, you're going to be good to go. So let's just start with a nice little friendly problem here. 2x squared minus x minus 6. Okay, so draw a nice little factor box. 2x squared goes here, negative 6 goes here, and negative x. You guys should all be used to how to do the factor boxes. And you're thinking of combinations for 2x squared. Well, it's just going to be, it's got to be 2x and x. That's kind of the nice thing about it. And 6, okay, again, we got to pick 2 and 3, or either 2 and 3 or 1 and 6. Remember, one of them has to be negative because it's got to multiply. Remember, it's multiply up and down, and then we multiply left and right, and then we add going down this way, add or subtract, depending on what we have to do here. Okay, so 1 and 6 usually aren't the good ones to pick. Usually it's the ones that are smaller than the biggest number, the 6 there. So I'm going to go with the 2 and the 3. And let's just put, let's get it wrong first. If I put a 2 and a 3, one of them's got to be negative, right? Okay, so I'm going to make this one negative. Well, here's the deal. If you multiply across, you get 4x, and x times, remember it's multiplication, x times negative 3 is negative 3x. And so 4x minus 3x is positive 1x. So that's wrong, but it's off by just a sign. So remember what I told you guys to do? Get rid of that sign, and the sign is really negative here. And then we're good to go. That's the answer. 2x plus 3, x minus 2. So 2x plus 3, x minus 2. That's my answer. And remember I told you, math fans, it's like super easy to check these problems. Literally you do FOIL, and you get 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So you want to get 2x squared minus x minus 6, which is exactly what we have here. Okay, just to kind of show that. Now you don't have to do that, but boy, I'll tell you, man, it's a really easy, it's like a 15-second way to check your answer. Really, really convenient. Okay? All right, so let's try, I just have lots more examples. So 3x squared minus 7x minus 6. Okay, so 3x squared, negative 6, negative 7x. So 3x and x. So the nice thing about 3x squared and 2x squared is it can only be one set of numbers. It can, like 2 can only be 2 and 1, 3 can only be 3 and 1. When you get to 4, no, you got to think a little bit more, because 4 can be 2 and 2 or 4 and 4. Okay? So anyway, you got 3x and x. Remember, one of these next set of numbers has to be equal to a negative value. So one's positive, one's negative. So, it's either 6 and 1 or 3 and 2. So, again, think a little bit logically. If I put a 3, just think 3 and 2, I can see that one of these is negative. So it's like, oh wait, this is 9 and this is 2. Oh, 9 minus 2 is 7. Oh, but I need negative 7. So I'm going to make that negative. And then we're good. This is negative 9x. This is positive 2x. And that gives you negative 7x, so we're good. So it's x minus 3, 3x plus 2. Okay? Not bad. All right, let's keep going here. 2x squared plus x minus 15. So 2x squared, negative 15, 1x. So I'm going to put 2x here and an x here, and then I'm going to do 5 and 3 because I think it could be 51, but here's the deal. That's a pretty small number. To do 15, that's too big of a number for this. Okay, so if I do 3 and 5, again, let's see, where am I going to put the 3 and the 5? I need to get a 1, so I would say this is going to be a 3 and this is going to be a 5 because it's got to balance out to a 1. And one of them is negative. Well, if I multiply across, do you guys agree I get 6x? And this one I get 5x? So which one needs to be negative? Oops, this one, sorry, this one right here, right, 5x, because 6x minus 5x is x. So there we go. Oh, I need to put the negative here, sorry. So it's 2x minus 5, x plus 3. Okay, not bad. Let's do some more here. Okay, here's 2x squared plus 3x minus 14. Okay, so 2x squared, negative 14, 3x. I'll tell you, I'm doing a bunch of examples here, math fans. If you understand what's going on here and you just want to practice, I mean, basically, look at the example that I have right here and try it, and then see if you get the same thing as I got. And you'll fast forward it and check the answer. So you don't have to watch all these examples, but I'm just doing a bunch of them for you just to kind of help you guys out. But test it out yourself. Okay, so you're going to get 2x and x, and 14 is 7 and 2. So I think this is going to be a 2 and a 7. Is that right? Yeah, because this is going to give me 4x. So I'm not going to even put the sign there yet. 7x. And do you guys agree 7 minus 4, so this needs to be negative here? Okay, right? So you can kind of do that a little bit later, the sign. And so we're good. Here we go. X minus 2, 2x plus 7. Cool. Okay, so let's do 6x squared plus 11x plus 3. 6x squared, 3, 11x. So 2x and 3x. Well, 3 can only be 3 and 1. So what are you going to do? How about 3 and 1? It looks like it, right? And they're positive, so I don't have to worry about the signs here. So I get 2x and 9x, and that's 11x. So 3x plus 1, 2x plus 3. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's see, 4x squared minus 8x plus 3. So 4x squared, 3, and negative 8x. So do you guys agree it multiplies to give you that this needs to be positive, both positive or both negative? And because that's negative, we're going to make them both negative. So it's going to be 2x and 2x. 3 can be just 3 and 1. So let's put double negative there. And that works out well. Negative 6x, negative 2x. So that gives us negative 8x. So we have 2x minus 3 and 2x minus 1. Sweet. Okay, let's do this next one. 4x squared plus 13x plus 3. Oops, I know why I'm putting the parentheses there. I haven't done your factor box yet. Okay, so do a factor box. 4x squared, 3, 13x. So just an observation here. I could do 2 and 2, but I want you to understand that 13 is kind of a big number. So if I did do 2 and 2, watch, 2x and 2x. Well, I can only do 3 and 1. And if you multiply that out, it's 6x and 2x, and that doesn't give you 13x, not big enough. So I can't, if I switch the 3 and the 1 and make it 1 and 3, it doesn't matter. It's still be multiplied by 2x. So what I need to do is, instead of that being 2x, I'm going to do a 4x and x. And now I can do 3 and 1. Well, I don't know which one's 3 and 1. Well, kind of look at it. This is, here, let me erase this here too. If I did 3 and 1, I can see that's going to work out because this is 12x and this is 1x. 12x plus 1x is 13x, so that's your answer. X plus 3, 4x plus 1. Okay. It's not bad, not bad. Okay, I got a few more to do. So bear with me. 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. 6x squared, negative 6, 5x. So, you know, again, I'm going to do the 2x and 3x. I could do 6 and 1. It has to multiply to give you a negative number. So that means one has to be positive, one has to be negative. Well, if I did 2 and 3, okay, and again, one has to be negative, but let's actually, one has to be negative. So if I multiply this out, I get 4x, and this is 9x. Hey, okay, so look at this. 9x minus 4x. So we go, this is negative then. So it's easy, you know, I'm kind of learning more and more about the factor box to help you guys out, but it looks like, you know, with the sign, you can kind of put that sign in later, especially if you're, you know, you don't know which one it is, okay? So that's actually kind of nice. So you have 2x plus 3, 3x minus 2. Okay, that's cool. 8x squared minus 14x plus 3. Okay, so we're going to do 8x squared here, 3 and negative 14x. Okay, so I'm going to do, I'll do 4x and 2x. Those are kind of the middle of the road ones. And then 3, well, it's 3 and 1 or 1 or 3. So let's, if I did 1 and 3, just to show you what's going to happen, I would get, I mean, without even doing anything, I would get 4x and 6x, and 4 and 6 just gives you 10, right? So I'm going to switch these two around, and I'm going to do 3 and 1, because that's going to give us 12x and 2x. Now understand that it has to multiply to give you that 3, so they're either both negative or both positive. Well, this is negative down here, so they're both negative. Okay, so negative 12 minus 2 is negative 14, so we're good. 2x minus 3, 4x minus 1. Okay? All right, just a couple more here. I don't want to scare anybody, but just a few more. 8x squared plus 18x plus 9. So 8x squared, 9, 18x. Numbers are kind of bigger, okay, but no big deal. We can do 4x and 2x. And think about what 9. Well, 9 can just be 9 and 1, and 9 times 4 is way too big, and 9 times 2 is 18. That's already too big. So we got to go 3 and 3. It's the only other possibility. That could be 8 and 1 for this 8, but let's just try it. This is 12x, and this is 6x. Sweet! And the signs are right. 2x plus 3, 4x plus 3. Cool. Okay, one more, and then we're going to get to one kind of a crazier one, because you got some on your homework, and one easy review. Okay, so 6x squared, 3, negative 11x. So I'm going to do 2x and 3x, and 3 is just 3 and 1. It's negative though for here, so that means both of them have to be negative. So what if I do negative 3 and negative 1? That's negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. Nope, not big enough. How about if I switch around? So I do negative 1, negative 3. That's negative 2, negative 9. Hey, all right. So that's it. So 3x minus 1, 2x minus 3. 3x minus 1, 2x minus 3. Okay? Pretty easy. Okay, so the last example I want to do with you guys, well, kind of last example, so just bear with me, is if I have a problem that has an x and a y in it, so x squared minus xy minus 6y squared. Okay, so basically what I want to do is you see an x and a y here, and that shouldn't really scare you because you're just going to do the factor box the same way as I did before. So I'm going to go like this: x squared minus 6y squared and negative xy. This is no big deal. x and x. Okay, well 6 is either, it's going to be 3 and 2, right? So negative 3 and positive 2, but it's y. So if I multiply that together, and you get negative 3xy. Multiply that together, I get 2xy. Oh, that's pretty sweet. I picked the right combination because negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1 xy. So that's my answer is x minus 3y and x plus 2y. That's your answer. Okay? Alright, last problem. This is just a review. I want to do that with you guys. It's grouping. First of all, how many terms for grouping? You guys should remember it's 4 terms. So 2xy minus 3z minus 3x plus 2yz. And you got to factor that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to group some greatest common factors together. So let me group these two together and these two together. Okay, and put them smallest to largest. So 2xy minus 3x and then plus 2yz minus 3z, right? So greatest, it's greatest, smallest to greatest as far as the coefficient, same thing here. Okay, so I can factor out an x, so I get 2y minus 3, basically just factoring out this x. And then I can factor for the next one out a z, so z times 2y minus 3. So again, you can divide it by z. And I'll tell you, you guys should recognize this is the same. If that's not the same, you did something wrong. And then, of course, you're going to do, you have your x and your z. So my final answer is x plus z, which is with that stuff on the outside, that and that, times the common number there, or common term, 2y minus 3. And that's your answer. Okay, so that's just a little review on grouping, and of course we did a lot of stuff with trinomials and factor boxes, so hopefully you guys were following along and you're good to go. Well, that's it, math fans. You have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.